Things are starting to look a bit better for United and Amarim, finally. The new stadium project is fully unveiled and well on its way. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has backed Amarim publicly and placed a lot of faith in him, and United got a decent point against the perpetual bridesmaid, Arsenal. I see a lot of people questioning whether Amarim's long-term vision is actually workable or not, or is this just another case of Eric Ten Hag 2.0? Well, this game in particular answered a lot of those questions and showed that with the right personnel and right profiles, his system can actually work. And this game in particular answered a lot of questions surrounding Amarim's tactical adaptability. He answered those questions as he channeled his inner Jose Mourinho in this game. Let's talk about things which went right for United in this game. So we saw United set up in a 5-4-1 or a 5-2-1 formation with a low block, mid block approach. And there was a purpose for that. I know a lot of people weren't happy with that, and I get that, but it made sense because if you look at the PSV game against Arsenal in the Champions League, PSV tried to press Arsenal man to man and they got opened up. They got spanked by Arsenal. 7-1 was the scoreline, I think. So it made sense to go with a more cautious approach, to have control without the ball, and that happened. Arsenal hardly created anything in the first half. The only chance which I can remember is a Mikel Merino chance, which caused little panic. Apart from that, Arsenal really didn't create anything of note in the first half. And Amarim's plan worked. Even Amarim in his post-match comments alluded to the fact that it made more sense to go with a low block against Arsenal, and it did pay off. But it was not like that United was sitting back or in a low block or a mid block all the time. They did pick their moments to press high. They did try to press high. They did try to force Arsenal's play into one side and then go man to man. And we saw more of that in the second half, especially because United had the confidence and the momentum in the second half. The Rasmus Holland chance, which came towards the end of the game, was a consequence of this only, that United tried to press high. And it did work a couple of times, especially in the latter part of the second half. You know, one thing which is very clear after this game is that this group of players is still a counter-attacking team at the core. They are happy to sit back, absorb the pressure, and hit on the counter. And trust me, you let them go with this approach and you'll see them picking up more points. But that's not how you want to be in the future, right? This team right now is not one which can dominate possession, dictate tempo, or exert control. For that, it's going to take time. And I know fans are not very happy with what's going on, but there's no quick fix and there's no easy way out of it. Trust me. Regardless of that, there's still positives which are becoming more apparent. Like there were questions about Amarim's tactical adaptability, which is fair, but we did see him move from a 3-4-3 to a 3-4-3 diamond, which is better when you're playing against pressure, especially. And in the Premier League, that's always the case. But the issue is that he only has a small group of players to choose from, and he can't tweak much even if he wants to. However, the good thing is that in the Arsenal game, I did see the players having this instinct to change the formation to a 3-4-3 diamond, and that did happen in the mid game, as you can see here. So this is one positive which I draw from this game, and it's only going to improve with the right personnel and more training sessions, as it's still early days. The biggest positive that I can draw from this game came in the second half, when United were in possession and they managed to move past the halfway line. The interesting peak was that it was Mazraoui who was coming on the inside, while Garnacho was the wide man. It was Garnacho who was holding the right wing back position or the right winger position, as you can see here. This led to most of the positive things that United did in the second half. Be it the Zirkzee chance or Bruno's chance in the end, it all came because of this particular tactic. And we saw the threat Garnacho's crosses were causing to Arsenal. This game is a proof that Amarim's system works when you have wingers in those wing back roles. The moment he shifted Garnacho into that right wing back like or right winger like role in the in possession phase, he started causing Arsenal all sorts of problems. And he could play there because he had Mazraoui playing on the inside, who's technically capable enough of doing so. And all the positive things United did in the second half came because of this particular tactic. And trust me, this is an indicator that Amarim's system can work when we have the right profiles in the right places, in the right positions. He had Giovanni Quenda, who was a two-way winger, Nuno Santos, Maximiliano Araujo. All of these are attack-minded players who are deployed in the wing-back positions in Amarim's Sporting. So we need the personnel to make the system work. We see a big difference when Dorgu plays on the left wing-back position. He's always making those runs to put in the crosses. Today, Garnacho played in that right wing-back position, and we saw the effect it had. Arsenal couldn't cope with him. United did well in this game, given the circumstances, but make no mistake, it was far from a perfect game, as there were many flaws which need to be addressed and rectified, especially in the build-up structure. Whenever United did try to build up from the back, they did so with a system which has not been working for weeks now. United tried to build up with the central centre back moving into the midfield, that is Lindelof moving into the midfield. And this is something which has not been working with any of the present personnel. So I think this needs to be changed till the time we get centre backs who are capable enough or comfortable enough of moving into the midfield. Another problem for this United side is with Diogo Dalot being deployed at the wing back position. Now I know he's not a winger or wing back, but the problem is that whenever he is in that situation where he finds himself isolated in a 1v1 situation with the opposition fullback, he often opts for the safer option instead of taking on his man. And that is detrimental to United's attacking play. The problem is that without threat from the wing backs, Amorim's system would not work effectively. And this wouldn't be the case if Dorgu or Ahmad or let's say Quenda would be the wing backs. Another issue that we have is that whenever we do try to press high, our backline does not always support the press. The centre backs do not always push up high and press the opposition players. And this is something I noticed against Arsenal as well. There were a couple of occasions when we did actually try to press high, but the backline did not push up, and Arsenal were able to play through the United press. So this is something which I think will change and will improve with more training sessions and a clear intent from the coach and the right personnel. But that again will take time. And I'm quite certain of that because there were other occasions as well where I saw Eden Heaven, Matthias de Ligt all pushing up to press the Arsenal players, especially in the latter part of the second half. And lastly, I'll just say this about Arsenal that keeping the ball is not football. They could have taken the ball home for all I care. Keeping the ball, exerting control, wide triangles, inverted fullbacks. For as a matter of fact, two inverted fullbacks in Timber and Calafiori, positional rotations, and all of these things, they look and sound nice on paper, especially. But if they're not getting the wins, forget wins. If you're still struggling to get by against a 15th place side, and when you happen to be in the fifth phase of your rebuild, then something is wrong, isn't it? But there's no point in delving into this discussion because the big fat book of excuses comes out very quickly.